guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. This is from a guy. He is in Australia, and he shares his story about an experience he had when he was younger, much younger actually, because the guy I believe is in his 60s at this point, about how he had a woman he worked with, and let's just say she was less than thrilled, less than happy with her marriage, so she essentially hit him up to basically have a fling with her. And when I go through this, guys, you're going to see her reasoning and justification for all this is just going to have you guys ready to pull your hair out. But you're not going to be surprised. And I'm doing this, guys, as an example to show you just the ridiculous justification that can be used oftentimes for one's actions, particularly in this case with women and cheating. I'm also doing this, guys, because this is coming from Australia. And at the end of the day, as I've said this before, human nature is human nature. It doesn't make a difference where you live, okay? Whether you're here in the United States, Japan, Australia, Saudi Arabia, wherever it is on this planet, men do and respond to what they respond to, and women do and respond to what they respond to. It is what it is. It doesn't make a difference. Your religion, your education, how much money you have, what the kind of income you have, with your background, whatever it is. People are people, and they do the same crap. Doesn't make a difference where you are in the world. That's why if I do these stories, I talk about the things I talk about, and some people say, oh, that doesn't apply to me because things are different in my culture or where I live or something like that. No, it doesn't. I can tell you right now because human nature is human nature wherever you live. But anyhow, I'm not going to give too much away. I'll let you guys find out in real time. So it starts off, he says, "Hi, SSM. I really enjoy your content, and I know it helps so many young men to understand the true nature of women. I was what you would call an accidental Chad. I'm tall, 6'2", blue-eyed, don't give a crap attitude, and I'm told I'm handsome, although I fail to see that when I look in the mirror." So you were born naturally tall and good-looking, so you had that going for you. And with your I don't give a crap attitude, that definitely helped you out because that's the bad boy attitude. He says, "I never intended to be an F-boy. I'm speaking in code. I was a born romantic. But I ended up with a very high body count. Way too many one-night stands, and I wasn't even trying." That's because you weren't trying. You didn't care. "However, women would blatantly come on to me. I end up realizing they aren't the innocent things they portray themselves to be when they see some guy that they really like. Nope. The attitude today that these perfect, innocent, sweet angels, what a load of crap. Unfortunately, so many young men nowadays are being conditioned in the woke world to have that viewpoint and to put the gals on the pedestal, treat them like the queen, and just kiss their butts and put up with all this bad behavior. How many stories have I done, guys, that you've heard me do? Personal stories I found online where these guys, they in their view, they treat them like these perfect angels, and they treat them like, and the women act like devils, right? You know, both men and women, we have our flaws, okay? So going around with the idea that these women are the perfect angels and all that, it's crazy, and you're going to get badly burned. Unfortunately, so many young guys are brainwashed by their woke parents nowadays, and the education system and TV and movies and media and all that, but they'll learn, and then they'll be watching my show. Anyhow, he says, "At age 29, I met my wife and have recently separated after over 30 years together, and we have 3 wonderful kids. My wife proved there are women of high moral value in this world. In all the time with her, I never once saw a single red flag, and no, she never cheated, but I won't elaborate on how I can be so sure or that I'm trying to get to the point of this email. My wife knew my history, and I even warned her I was not the most trustworthy guy to be with, but she loved me and wasn't concerned about my reputation." Well, let me just say, that's the point, because so many other women obviously wanted you that she saw you as a catch. It didn't make a difference about the reputation, and you warned her you're not the most trustworthy guy. And how many guys, I did a story the other day about a guy who wrote in who was the classic bad boy his whole life. And flat out, he'd tell women that, pretty much, I'm a drunk. I like to use different substances, so to speak. This, and this. They were still all over him. Challenge. They love the bad boy. So I wasn't the cheated on, but I was the cheated with partner for a number of women. I thought you may find this story of the first time. I thought you may find this story of the first time I cheated on my wife interesting from the female mindset point of view. Well, not cool, dude. If you were married to a woman that was that good to you, at least to your knowledge, you shouldn't have been cheating on her. I mean, I'm going to call it both ways, guys. I can't just do this channel and just give a hard time to women for doing what they do, but if guys go and do the same thing, okay? At the end of the day, if things aren't working out, end it. Break up. Don't go cheating on her, let alone go cheating with other women that have other guys. I mean, it's going to come back and bite you in the butt one day. He says, in 1990, 8 years into being with my wife, this coworker of mine, a 27-year-old female, started telling me about her husband's S-word dysfunction. She told me he suffered from premature ejaculation, and as a result, she never had experienced an orgasm with him, as after ejaculation, he would switch off from embarrassment. Your coworker is telling you this? Guys, what would happen if a guy would talk about something equivalent to that to a female coworker nowadays? Boom. His ass is out of there. His ass is down to HR, getting told to pack up his stuff and leave. But back in those days, she told me he tried medication and other techniques, but nothing had worked. She asked me for advice and kept wanting to talk on this subject for weeks. Dude, she must have been pretty hot, because otherwise, why would you keep talking to this broad about these types of things, okay? I was starting to get pissed off, constantly hearing about their issues, and was about to tell her that I didn't want to talk about this anymore when she hit me with, "Would you like to F me?" She said it would only be one time just to get it out of her system, and she'd never ask again. This was at a point in time where my wife and I were constantly arguing at each other's throats, so I said, yes, I'll do it one time only. Not cool, dude. You got problems with your wife, break up with her. Or work on the problem. Don't go cheating on her. And this woman here, this guy's got a problem. He's obviously trying, but doesn't matter. So, around 2 weeks later on a Thursday night, we left work early, went to a hotel, and effed like rabbits for 3 hours. She left the hotel with a huge smile, and I left feeling like a little guilty and totally sedated. I go to work Friday morning and see her in the corridor. We start talking, and I ask her, "Do you feel guilty about cheating on your husband last night?" Her reply typifies the way women justify their actions. Her reply was, now listen to this, "No, I don't feel guilty because I never cheated on him. What you did to me was therapy, not cheating." I wasn't kidding, guys. I wasn't kidding about the justification. She went on to say that now that it's out of her system, she will never need to have therapy again, and I thought to myself, yeah, right. She left the company 1 month later, and I thought I'd never see her again. See the justification there? How many of you guys watching this have been on, unfortunately, the receiving end of this, where your gal cheated on you, and obviously it got out, and the twisting things around, you're never around, you're always working, you're not paying enough attention to me, you don't listen to me, on. I got cold feet before the wedding, I don't know what, something. And these dumb guys have no, like, okay, you're right. And they do it again. You think this is the last time she's done this? Well, you'll see. Fast forward 14 years, a friend of mine tells me he's run into her at a shopping center, and she asked about me and gave him her phone number for him to give to me. I took the number and called her to meet up for coffee. Why? Things not going well with your wife again? Not cool. Now, sure, there's part of it was probably curious, but even still, she's 14 years older. I guarantee she doesn't have the same looks as she once did. We meet and I ask her how it's all going. She tells me she's still with her husband. He's still the love of her life, but he still suffers from the PE. Still with this guy after all these years, he's the love of her life. Well, she doesn't exactly treat him like the love of her life. And unless this guy is, unless they have an open marriage and this guy is hooking up with women, not cool. I say that must be so frustrating. She says no, because since she left the company that we worked at, she's had 3 long-term affairs over the years with the guys to ease her frustration. 3 long-term affairs. What I tell you, once a cheater, always a cheater. Her saying that that guy was only going to be that one time only, yeah, sure. I don't think anybody watching this video, when I read that part about her saying it was only going to be one time, actually thought that it was only going to be one time. She told me that she lasted about 6 months after I gave her therapy before the need for satisfaction became too much. She asked whether I'd be interested in hooking up from time to time, but I told her no because I wanted to commit to my wife. Things were good in my marriage. Well, good for you, dude. Things are good in your marriage, cool. But no surprise there. You would think, okay, if obviously this guy couldn't satisfy her, break up with him. Move on. But she wanted to have her cake and eat it too. She wanted to have her guaranteed guy at home because, so many women, they regardless of how they may act, they don't want to be alone. At least they can have a guy there that's in the house helping pay for, I don't know if they have any kids, but taking care of part of the bills, if not all the bills if she doesn't work, resources and all that, and actually just having someone there. But they'll still have affairs, cheat, all that. At the end of the day, just break up with them, move on. But she obviously has no integrity at all. Anyhow, she asked him about wanting to cheat. He says, what I didn't tell her was that she gained weight, and now at 41, she looked like she was 50, and I had no attraction. That was the last time we ever spoke. Well, as the saying goes, men age like Sean Connery, and women age like Sean Connery. Now, I have to wonder here, did this guy, did he go to see her, and obviously when he saw her, he wasn't attracted to her anymore? If she was still, even though she was older, if she was thin, took care of herself, looked good, or good enough, would something happen? I'm curious about that. I don't know. He says, I have a number of stories I can tell. I'm in my late 60s now and have a lot of adventures with women, but I thought this story was the best example in that time of the way women justify bad behavior. Bro is a perfect example. As I said, I'm separated from my wife now and I have a much younger girlfriend. I know exactly how to keep her interested and in line. The funny thing is, despite my experiences with women, channels like yours have still given me some areas of thought that I didn't think about much in the past. Therefore, if you're able to give a guy like me new insight, then you are definitely helping those young men going into dating in an era of the trashiest women in history. Best regards from Sydney, Australia. Well, thanks, bro. I appreciate you sending that story. It was a good thing to hear about. Just showing a perfect example of how the justification and twisting things around to justify the cheating. And it's also interesting to hear from a different part of the world, and again, proving the point that at the end of the day, female nature is female nature, male nature is male nature as well. Case in point, you cheating on your wife and hooking up with her even though she had a husband. Okay, I know it was a long time ago, I know you were young, and I'm trying, believe me, I'm not getting on my high horse here and preaching moral values or anything like that, but I'm not that type, but I'm all for accountability and being fair. I can't just do videos and say and give women a hard time for the cheating and bad behavior when I can't call out a guy for the same thing. I'm going to do that. So, but anyhow, the past is the past. So, anyhow, guys, thought it'd be a good one to cover there just to show you what it's like. Doesn't make a difference where it is. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And also, guys, you ever come across a great article or story that you'd like me to share to cover on this channel, by all means, email it to me. Or if you have a great personal story, something you experienced that definitely is related to what I talk about on this channel, whether it happened last week or it happened 40 years ago, send it over. Just be sure to write out in really good detail, good paragraphs, finish your sentences. Sometimes I get emails where it's all one giant paragraph. There's no punctuation. You can't tell where a sentence began or ends. It makes it very difficult. So I'm just going to have to, unfortunately, just delete them because I don't have time to go there and be the editor. I'm freaking busy. But write out well, easy to read. Like if you were doing a video and how you'd read it, do that. And if it definitely works out, I'll certainly cover it in the future. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.